I feel like my hair is nuts. Regardless, I'm gonna do chapter 10 of 50 Shades of Grey. So they were just having sex, and then Christian Grey's mother shows up, and now this is what happens. He pulls out of me suddenly. I wince. He sits up on the bed and throws the used condom in a wastebasket. There is such a thing as too much information. And that was it. Come on, we need to get dressed. That's if you want to meet my mother. He grins, leaps off the bed and pulls on his jeans. No underwear. I struggle to sit up as I'm still tethered. Christian, I can't move. His grin widens, and leaning down, he undoes the tie. The woven pattern has made an indented pattern around my wrists. That's a terrible line. She has no clean clothes, and suddenly she's panicking. Holy crap, his mother! Perhaps meeting her will help put a little part of the jigsaw in place. Might help me understand why Christian is the way he is. Suddenly, I want to meet her. The sandy-haired woman beside Christian turns and beams at me, a full megawatt smile. She stands, too. She's impeccably attired in a camel-colored fine-knit sweater dressed with matching shoes. She looks groomed, elegant, beautiful, and inside I die a little knowing I look such a mess. What a pleasure to meet you, she murmurs. She asks how they met. Christian recaps the interview, and then Anastasia's phone rings and she excuses herself to answer it. It's Jose. He wants to apologize for his behavior. You know, when he groped her up at the bar. She tells Jose she'll call him later. And when she returns, Christian Grey's mother is saying, I thought we might have lunch together, but I can see you have other plans and I don't want to interrupt your day. She gathers up her long cream coat and turns to him, offering him her cheek. He kisses her briefly, sweetly. She doesn't touch him. And then she leaves. And then Taylor appears. And apparently there's some business that Christian has to take care of. Once he's finished with his phone call, he goes and fetches the contract. You know, the contract. And then he says, read it, and we'll discuss it next weekend. May I suggest you do some research so you know what's involved? He pauses. That's if you agree, and I really hope you do. Research? You'll be amazed what you can find on the internet, he murmurs. So much murmuring. Blah, 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 they're in the elevator. I have a problem. Oh, I have his full attention. Well, I need to talk to Kate. I have so many questions about sex, and you're too involved. If you want me to do all these things, how do I know? I pause, struggling to find the right words. I just don't have any terms of reference. He rolls his eyes at me. Talk to her if you must. He sounds exasperated. Make sure she doesn't mention anything to Elliot. I bristle at his insinuation. Kate isn't like that. The sooner I have your submission, the better, and we can stop all this, he murmurs. Stop all what? You defying me. And then he drives her home. He's got his Ray-Bans on, so I can't see what he's thinking. How could she see what he was thinking even if he had his Ray-Bans off? He takes her to a restaurant to eat. He orders. She argues. Then, my mother liked you, he says dryly. Really? His words make me flush with pleasure. Oh yes, she always thought I was gay. Why did she think you were gay, I whisper. Because she's never seen me with a girl. Oh, not even one of the 15? He smiles. You remembered. No, none of the 15. You know, Anastasia, it's been a weekend of firsts for me too, he says quietly. But we'll never really understand why he's breaking all his rules for her. I really enjoyed this weekend, I murmur. Murmur. That's like, is anyone counting? Because that's like a lot so far. And then apparently Christian was seduced by one of his mother's friends when he was 15, and she had very particular tastes, and he was her submissive for 6 years. So if she was a friend of your mother's, how old was she? He smirks. Old enough to know better. Ho ho ho. Do you still see her? Yes. Do you still, she flushes. No, she's a very good friend. He orders her to eat, but she's not sure she likes this. Does she really want to be ordered around? And then she asks, is this what our relationship will be like, I whisper. You ordering me around? Yes, he murmurs. And what's more, you'll want me to, he adds, his voice low. I sincerely doubt that, she thinks. It's a big step, I murmur. I'd give anything to know what you're thinking right at this moment, he murmurs. And she goes inside, and Kate's there. And then they have this ridiculous conversation about, you look different, Kate says fondly. I feel different. Sore, I confess. Sore? A little, I flush. Me too, men, she says in mock disgust. They're animals. We both laugh. You're sore, I exclaim. Yes, overuse, I giggle. Tell me about Elliot and the overuser, I ask when I've stopped giggling. Jose calls, and he's happy that she's home, and he wants to talk to her, and he wants to apologize because he was drunk, and she's like, just don't do it again. Collecting my purse, I wander listlessly into my bedroom. I am weary from all our carnal exertions of the last day and from the complete and utter dilemma that I'm faced with. I sit on my bed and gingerly extract the manila envelope from the bag, turning it over and over in my hands. Do I really want to know the extent of Christian's depravity? It's so daunting. I take a deep breath, and with my heart in my throat, I rip open the envelope. You know, with the contract. And that's it for chapter 10. Nothing really happened, really. She met his mom, they go out for dinner, he orders for her. She talks to Kate a little bit about sex, but not that much. She talks to Jose, who wants to apologize. this chapter is basically a big write-off. It just wants to drill home that Christian is doing things that he normally wouldn't do, and that he was some old woman's sex slave when he was 15. I think that about sums it up. And I guess I'll see you all again next week. Thank you for tuning in for this edition of That Girl Tyson.
General quarters, all hands man your battle stations, all hands man your battle stations.
It's this